Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on a pretty simple bracelet using our December Bargain Bead Box Earthen Elegance. Now I have added some beads and things to this because, well, I think it needed a little more color than I was getting with just the Jasper and the magma rondelles. And I'd already used all my cream beads. So what we're going to add is some bright yellow. I think the yellow goes really well with Jasper. And let's turn down and I'll show you what we're going to do. So these are the beads we're going to use, and I have gotten out some yellow soft flex. I believe this is called yellow quartz or citrus quartz or something like that. I also believe that it's a discontinued color. I could be wrong, but I think it is. But it doesn't have its title on here, so I couldn't tell you for sure which of the yellows it is, but it's a very pretty color, soft flex medium beading wire. I only use soft flex. So then here are our beads we're going to use. Oh, from my stash, other than the yellow beads, bright yellow, aren't they? I have added a thumbnail lobster. I call this a thumbnail lobster because it doesn't have one of the buttons to push it. You just push it down with your thumbnail to open it up, and then it pops back. So there's that. And I have a little ring that this is going to go onto on the other side. And you actually don't even need to use your thumbnail. You can just push it with the ring and it will go on, see? So that is going to be our closure. We have a couple of crimp tubes. And there should have been one more we can just hook it directly onto the ring. And that may be what I was thinking when I only put in one jump ring in here. I always try to jump ring my lobster claws and such because they work because there's a little spring inside here. And if the spring breaks, so does your lobster claw. It doesn't work anymore. So I try to jump ring the lobster claws onto anything I'm putting them with, so that if that ring breaks, you can just change your clasp as opposed to having to restring your whole setup. So those are the last things we're going to put on. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take these large, I think I have 3 of them here, yep, large Jasper. And in between those large Jasper, we're going to put some of these magmas with bead caps on both sides. And one of these yellow twisted rectangulars. Now we're also going to put these magmas on either side on this side as well. And then the next thing we're going to put on is one of these twisted cubes. Now see, it looks like a cube, but the hole runs this direction, so it goes so it's twisted. So that will go on either side of this magma. Then we're going to put on another set of magma. And then a Jasper over here. And another set of magma. So there's what it's going to look like. So let's get some beading wire out and string it up. Now I am going to work right from the spool. I like to do that because sometimes it just isn't working the way you want it to. And you may have to redo something. And if you've cut your wire and made it too short, then you're sort of, well, you know the word I'm thinking of. So we'll put that, I put the bead stopper on right here with the wire so that the beads don't slide down into the groove here, so I can't see what I've got there. So we'll just start with our bead cap, the magma, the bead cap, the jasper, and we'll just go down the line of how I've got it set out here till we get to the other end. See how that goes sideways? So just down the line as we go. Now, I put some citrine with some of my other pieces I've made, and that's really pretty because it's also yellow, but it's a lighter yellow, and sometimes I like the lighter yellow better than this big gold lemon yellow. Well, not big gold, big bold lemon yellow. But just, you know, I'm going to switch this big one for this one because look at the pretty markings on this one, whereas this one is more subdued, and this one is going to end up being in the middle. So because it's the middle, we're gonna put this one with the more striations in the middle, so it shows up a little better. Now if, when we get to the other end, we feel it's going to be too long once we put on our findings, our lobster claw and our ring, we can always take out this last a little bit. And that is another reason I don't hook the one side up prior to getting it done. If we're going to have to take something out, I don't want to have to take the whole thing apart. If I've only just strung it with a bead stopper on the other side, I don't have to have that worry because I can just take them out of either end. Okay, we've got to this end now, so I'm going to put another bead stopper on, but I'm going to put it up here further and let these beads slide down here, and put the stopper back up here. And now we're going to measure it and see what we're at right now. There's our ruler out. Put it there, and it's exactly 7 inches. And with this, we're going to add about 3/4 of an inch, maybe a little longer because we're going to have the crimp tubes and this in. Let's get out the easy sizer and see what it says. So if I bring the easy sizer in and we bring it to the bracelet spot, which is 7 or 7.5 or more, we will bring it up, and I think it's actually going to work perfectly, because even though this says 7 and that would make it closer to 8, because we have some larger beads on here, as they go around, they slim our bracelet down because these come into the center where, you know, the wire goes right here. If this was a coin bead, it would add no space. But because it's not, because it's a larger bead, not flat, that space comes into your middle section and takes away this much of your space. This little cube is going to do the same thing because, as you can see, it comes in. So, you know, if it's a smaller bead, it really doesn't cut that much space off. But because we have 3 of the 10 millimeters and these 2 triangles, it does cut off quite a bit of space. So because we're really close to what we want to be, I'm just going to cut our wire off right here. And we'll start putting on our ending pieces. So, to do that, we're going to want to, well, I'm going to put the ring on the other side first. So we can just put on one of our crimp tubes and our ring. Let's take our ring out of our lobster claw so it'll be easier to put on. And then we're just going to put that through the crimp. And push it up. Now, I'm not putting a jump ring on this side because this ring is not likely to break. I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't, but it's more likely that your beading wire is going to break before your this ring. And frankly, this is a very strong beading wire. Soft flex is extremely good. I have never had anything break with soft flex. Other things, but not the wire itself. So I use the magical crimpers. There's a divot in here, as you can see. You put the 2x2 crimp right in the middle of that, and then squish. Then you turn it, and I let that get a little big, but I think it's going to be all right. Turn and squish again, and you continue to do that till you don't squish anymore, and you have a little tight little ball. Oops, I needed one more, it looks like. My little ball is not a little ball. It's got a little ridge to it. So we will do a couple more crimps to make sure we get it to our little ball. Okay, tug test, and then we're going to see if this wire will slip into these pieces here. Come on, baby. We go, it slips in just fine. Let this roll down to here. Now we'll put now you can do this, like by putting the jump ring on right now. You could even put the lobster claw on it, or you could wait and just make a loop here and then just open up your jump ring and put it on, which you're going to have to do anyway because you have to open it to put the lobster claw on it. Now you're going to want to make sure it's bent a little bit when you put this on, or when you crimp this last crimp, because otherwise it's going to get a little tight on you. So I think it's good. So we're going to move this down so we can get to our crimp more easily here. And I'm going to take hold of that old jump ring, if I can get it to come down to me, that is. Come on down. So it doesn't get in the way, and it actually helps me by holding the wire. So then crimp, turn, crimp, and turn a couple more times till there's no more resistance. And your crimpers go all the way down. Let's do a tug test. That's good. Cut this extra little bit of wire off. And now we're going to open up that oval jump ring and put our lobster claw on. So this is our last step. So open this up. Put the lobster claw on. And close her up. Okay, she looks like she's pretty closed all right, so we can let her go. Hook her up. And there's our little bracelet. Let's see how big she ended up being. Just looks like just between 7 and 7 1/4, so that's really good. About perfect. So there's our pretty little bracelet with the jasper, the magma beads, and the bright yellow that we added in to give it a little something else for a oomph. So I think that turned out pretty. I hope you like that. So anyway, there is our finished bracelet using our December Bargain Bead Box, Earthen Elegance. Pretty. If you don't like this bright of a yellow, you can always substitute a different color. White would work, or a cream, maybe orange. But yeah, pretty little bracelet. And simple to make. Hope you enjoyed making this with me. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we have been working with December's Bargain Bead Box, Earthen Elegance, to make this pretty little bracelet. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.